Mientras vamos esperando que más personas entren, vamos a ir conversando un poquito, hablando un poquito acerca de esta iniciativa, de nosotros como personallearning.p, de hacia dónde vamos, desde dónde venimos, esta aventura y todo lo que nos ha traído de bonito. También vamos a escuchar a Emiliano, que nos va a dar la bienvenida con palabras a nombre de la Unión Europea. Pero bueno, sin más comenzamos, mientras la gente se va conectando, ya somos 61. Bueno, bienvenidos a esta segunda sesión de los Erasmus Mundus Latam Talk 2025. Este es el segundo año que hacemos este programa, esta serie de eventos. El año pasado salió muy chévere y lo que más nos gustó fue que recibimos un feedback súper positivo, tanto de ustedes como futuros postulantes o postulantes de este año, como de los programas Erasmus Mundus que vinieron, ¿no? Normalmente no se generan estos espacios en donde programas Erasmus Mundus se juntan y conversan de los diferentes temas que ofrecen en sus maestrías y pueden intercambiar, ¿no? Entonces eso es interesante, tanto para ustedes como para los programas también. Estamos bastante felices de poder volver a hacerlo y de contar ya con amigos recurrentes, ¿no? Los amigos de SDSI son recurrentes, son parte de la familia de personallearning.p, ya ahora también EMMIE. Lo bueno es que cada año más personas de la comunidad de personallearning.p entran a nuevos programas de Erasmus Mundus, entonces nuestras redes crecen en los programas y así tenemos a más representantes de personallearning.p en los diferentes programas que existen, ¿no? Ya sea de la academia o simplemente de las redes sociales o de los videos de YouTube. Igual siempre estamos conectados, eso me parece bravazo. Nada, sin más, yo soy Viviana Rojas, la mayoría de ustedes me conocen, para los que no me conocen y recién me han conocido por estos últimos posts que hemos hecho sobre estos eventos, yo soy ex becaria Erasmus Mundus, también soy emprendedora y creadora de contenido educativo sobre becas y empleabilidad. Entonces, básicamente, mi pasión es esa, ¿no? Poder compartir oportunidades, diversificar y democratizar el conocimiento acerca de esas oportunidades de becas y de educación de calidad a nivel internacional, pero a la vez también darles las estrategias y entrenar a talentazos de Latinoamérica en cómo pueden construir perfiles ganadores de estas oportunidades y de construir perfiles globales en general para tener un futuro internacional sin límites, ¿no? Que es lo que yo alguna vez soñé cuando estaba iniciando mi carrera y que, bueno, en este momento estoy en ese proceso, ¿verdad? Todavía estamos en el proceso, todavía estamos en la construcción, ¿vale? Antes de comenzar, avisarles que vamos a tener esta sesión en Spanglish, o sea, no hay otra forma de tener estas sesiones, porque viene gente, si bien viene gente de los programas que son de Latinoamérica, estudiantes de Latinoamérica, también están algunos representantes de programas que no necesariamente hablan español, y también tenemos dentro de los asistentes a personas de diferentes partes del mundo que tampoco hablan español. Entonces para ser inclusivos en ese sentido, vamos a estandarizar el idioma en inglés en las presentaciones, pero haremos intervenciones pues en español, para chistes, para chacota, por lo que tengamos que hacer en el momento, ¿vale? Entonces, les recomiendo que puedan prender los subtítulos, si es que tienen la opción. A mí ya me desapareció esta opción. Yo estaba un poquito confundida con esta opción de Google Meet, porque a mí ya no me aparece la opción de transcribir los subtítulos en caso lo necesiten, pero entiendo que algunos sí. Así que pueden probar, si es que tienen la opción disponible. Lo que tienen que hacer es darle clic a los 3 puntitos que están acá en el menú de abajito, entrar a settings o a ajustes, imagino que es en español, y luego pueden entrar a captions, ¿no? A subtítulos, y acá poner los lenguajes que corresponden. Así que les recomendamos que hagan eso en caso tengan un problema con el idioma o con el audio o qué sé yo, para poder seguirnos, ¿vale? Entonces, bueno, sin más, antes de comenzar con mi historia, quiero dar la bienvenida a Emiliano Cepeda. I want to welcome Emiliano Cepeda. He's a representative of the European Union in Peru. He's in charge of promoting Erasmus Mundus and Erasmus Plus initiatives. Y bueno, ya, me paso con el español. Emiliano, bien, háblanos, por favor.
Gracias, Viviana. Bueno, yo tampoco sé si hacer las palabras en inglés o en español, pero...
Creo que en español, y luego, no sé, es difícil, son difíciles estos eventos, la verdad, muy internacionales.
Bueno, mi nombre es Emiliano Cepeda, soy gestor de proyectos acá en la delegación de la Unión Europea en Perú. Estoy actualmente a cargo del programa Erasmus Plus en el Perú. Y bueno, les doy la bienvenida de parte de la delegación de la Unión Europea en Perú. El Erasmus Plus, a manera general, es el programa de la Unión Europea en el ámbito de la educación, la formación, la juventud y el deporte. Tiene múltiples acciones a nivel global, es un programa con alcance global. Sin embargo, en América Latina, particularmente, tiene orientadas las acciones de movilidad de crédito internacional, que son intercambios cortos, las becas de maestría Erasmus Mundus, que son las que corresponden a esta charla, que son los Erasmus Mundus Joint Master's Degree, y en el ámbito institucional también tienen oportunidades de cooperación de universidades con socios europeos, que son los proyectos de desarrollo de capacidades, así como las acciones Jean Monnet. Este año hemos tenido la grata, bueno, la dicha de despedir a 38 becarios peruanos que han sido beneficiarios de las becas Erasmus Mundus. Ya Vivi y las personas correspondientes van a hablar más al respecto, y más de 200 peruanos se han beneficiado de estas becas desde el 2014. Entonces
Arriba Perú, vamos.
es una gran oportunidad. Nos ubicamos en cuarto lugar en América Latina y el Caribe, y bueno, buscamos aumentar aún más el número de beneficiarios, tanto a nivel nacional como también en las diferentes regiones, porque es una gran oportunidad para todos los interesados. Asimismo, quería agradecerles a las representantes de SDSI, EMMIE y Responsible Futures por tomarse un tiempo de estar acá presentes. Creo que es una gran oportunidad para poder hacer preguntas personalizadas y conocer de manera individual los programas de los que estén interesados. En este caso es un área bastante bonita, que es Design, Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Entonces es una grata oportunidad, y nuevamente, de parte de la delegación de la Unión Europea en Perú, les doy la más cordial bienvenida.
Gracias, Emiliano. Con los amigos de la Unión Europea nos hemos tomado muy a pecho esta misión de que cada vez Perú siga subiendo en el ranking de los países de Erasmus Mundus, y Latinoamérica también, así que estamos colaborando desde hace ya varios años en la difusión de estos programas, tanto en redes sociales y ahora también con estos eventos, y lo seguiremos haciendo, así que feliz, Emiliano, de tenerte en nuestras bandas, en nuestro equipo. Vamos juntos, vale. Bueno, para contaros un poquito de esta historia, de cómo nació todo esto, pues esto nació a raíz de un video que hice por curiosidad, y por eso es que yo siempre les recomiendo a mis alumnos, y se los recomiendo a ustedes también, ahora que me están escuchando, que no duden en seguir su curiosidad, porque cosas que ni siquiera se imaginan pueden pasar, ¿no? Entonces esto comenzó con un video que yo hice en YouTube hace años, hace como 5 años ya, hice 4, pero en verdad son 5, fue en el 2020, donde conté sobre mi experiencia en Erasmus Mundus. Ese video explotó, y ahí fue donde me di cuenta de que en realidad había una necesidad, una demanda importante de información acerca de esas oportunidades, y una necesidad de la democratización de esas universidades, porque estaban como que muy poco difundidas, ¿no? Entonces, eso fue creciendo con diferentes acciones de nuestra parte. Creamos la comunidad de Erasmus Mundus Latinoamérica, en la cual nos apoyamos entre todos, entre ex becarios, y nuevos postulantes, con los tips, con los consejos, con los contactos de los traductores, con cómo hiciste para postular tu título, todo ahí está. Estamos hablando dentro de la comunidad. Tenemos un grupo de WhatsApp, y también ahora he abierto ya este grupo que es específico, donde van a poder encontrar los recursos y tal. Ahorita voy a pasar el link, es gratuito, por supuesto. Todo esto lo hacemos con todo lo que hacemos en personal.p a nivel de eventos y tal, siempre va a ser gratuito. Eso se los puedo siempre asegurar, porque tenemos la misión de difundir esas oportunidades y democratizarlas, ¿verdad? Entonces, hemos crecido un montón de un video a una comunidad de más de 130.000 personas en el mundo, ¿no? Ya somos más de 60 países los que estamos en la comunidad. A veces me parece locazo ver a personas de Egipto, no sé, habría visto inscritas a personas de Egipto, de Somalia, de Bangladesh, y de la nada estamos en un evento súper internacional, que me parece súper interesante, también por las conexiones y los networks que se pueden crear. Acá todos estamos apuntando hacia lo mismo, no importa desde las diferentes regiones o países de los que estamos viniendo. Eso es muy valioso, es un network muy valioso, así que hay que aprovecharlo, ¿vale? Durante esos años hemos tenido la oportunidad, pues, de ir creciendo en comunidad, de ir visitando diferentes países también. Bueno, normalmente nos juntamos en Lima, que es donde yo voy más seguido, y también he tenido la oportunidad, pues, de compartir con ya becarios Erasmus Mundus, principalmente de Perú, en las despedidas que se hacen en la Unión Europea, y es súper chévere verlos, e incluso enterarme de personas nuevas que son parte de la comunidad, que han visto mis videos que yo ni siquiera conocía, que ni siquiera me había enterado, pero que finalmente llegan a ganar las becas, ¿no? Y llegar y que me digan, Vivi, gracias a tus videos, o Vivi, gracias por la información, me ayudó un montón en este proceso, es súper gratificante para mí. Creo que es lo mejor, ¿no? Y definitivamente los testimoniales de las personas que finalmente ganan las becas, ya sea de la academia, de la comunidad, desde donde sea que vengan de personallearning.pe, eso siempre es algo que alegra el día, la semana y el mes, ¿no? Así que esperamos seguir en esa misión, y en esa misión es que pues hemos desarrollado una academia de construcción de perfiles globales, ¿no? Es una academia de desarrollo de habilidades y construcción de perfiles globales que justamente les permite desarrollar esas características, o desarrollar o apuntalar más bien ese perfil para ser competitivos para esas oportunidades, ¿no? Nosotros tenemos un upgrade que ya les voy a estar contando por mis redes sociales muy prontito, se llama Beca, ya hemos desarrollado hasta un IA Tutor, o sea, todo comenzó con un video de YouTube y ya hemos terminado en una startup EdTech IA Tutor, o sea, ya estamos en constante evolución, en el proceso súper chévere. También les voy a estar contando sobre esto pronto. Pero sin más, pasamos a los programas que tenemos hoy día. Ya John ya llegó, estamos esperando también a John, que es de SDSI, con ellos vamos a comenzar. Pero tenemos a 3 programotes en este clúster súper relevante para el futuro, que es Design, Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Tenemos primero a SDSI, que es el Máster en Service Design, Strategies and Innovations. Es un programa súper interesante, ya nos van a contar un poquito más y ellos van a comenzar. Luego tenemos a EMMIE, que EMMIE es el Erasmus Mundus en Impact Entrepreneurship, que forma a emprendedores de impacto súper necesarios de cara al futuro del trabajo también. Y a Responsible Futures, que es un programa de European Masters in Design and Healthcare, ¿no? También que forma a diseñadores especializados en salud y cuidado, que también es súper, súper relevante para el futuro desde el nivel de políticas públicas, de diseño, de empresa, de industria, de diferentes visiones. Así que sin más, yo quiero I want to welcome John. I think we will now switch to English for the main presentations of the program. Well, that's it for my part. John, are you here? And SDSI?
No.
Sí estás.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm here. Okay. If you have your screen to share, we have John and Marcela. They are coming, they are both from SDSI. John is a current student. I understand, Marcela, you're a graduate already, right? Okay, so she will be able to give us her perspective from after the program, which is also really valuable. It's something that we are very much looking forward to know here. So the floor is all yours.
Okay, so I'll share my screen. In the name of the representatives of the CSI, they are very sorry they couldn't be here today. They tried their best, but of course it's very complicated, especially with the time zone difference. But we're here representing the program. As Vivi says, I'm a second-year student, and Marcelo is a resident graduate from the program. And this program, SDSI, is Service Design Strategies and Innovations. It's basically on the north part of Europe. You will be taking your studies in Latvia, Finland, and Estonia. And there's like a split there. I think Marcela is gonna talk about that. But basically, you will be going through the coldest part of Europe. It's very interesting. It's a very unique program. It's based on, as the curriculum says, design, entrepreneurship, and innovation. That's the 3 pillars. And service design, for those who don't know it yet, it's this field that takes care of the experience of the user. It's very broad, which could be a really good thing because they accept people from every background. Actually, in the program, we have very different backgrounds. We have very different countries as well. At least in my program, we're 22 countries and we're 31. I think the ratio is in Marcela's cohort was similar. But yeah, as you say here, as you can see, it's design, technology, innovation, and then you go into a little bit of sustainability. You also have courses about entrepreneurship. So it's a very rounded. It's a very well all-around program. You could put this knowledge into every field. Almost every field could use service design, and it's very interesting because you have the freedom to actually apply service design in your own field. So it's not something that comes to erase what you already know, but it's mostly a complement of the things that you are already doing. I don't know if Marcela, you want to add something?
No, I think it's very clear. Yeah, I think something you touch and it's very important to also reinforce is that you don't need to like a specific design background to apply. I mean, it's good if you have some sort of knowledge about it, but we have students from every kind of background. In my cohort, there was somebody who had like criminalist studies prior to that, and in architecture, business, law. So everyone is very welcome to apply if they understand more or less the process of what service design is, which is a very holistic experience, taking into account not only what the service is, but what happens all around it. But yeah, that's something very special about this program, I'll say.
Maybe it will be nice for you to explain what happens in the second part of the year for those who are not familiar with it.
Sure. Okay, so the first year, or maybe you want to start what happens in the first year, and then I can come in the second.
Okay, yeah. So in the first year, you're in Latvia, in Kuldiga. It's a small town, 3 hours from the capital. So it's a village. Usually these programs, they happen in big cities. And that's why I say this is a very unique experience, because I haven't seen any other program that has these very unique places where you take your studies. So Kuldiga is a UNESCO town. It's a protected town. It's very, very, very old, but it's also very beautiful. And you spend a year there. You have a whole building to yourself where you have many rooms that you can use. You have a lot of resources in the main building for you to build your projects, and you work through these courses. For those who are from Latin America, the European system of education is very different. Here you don't take one course through the whole semester, but courses continue to appear while you're doing your semester. So you can have one course that lasts 2 or 3 weeks, and then next week you will have a different course, and 3 weeks from that you will have a different course, which is very different from at least in what we are used in Peru, and I think in Latin America we don't have that kind of system. Here it works that way. So just so you know, that's why you can see like a lot of courses, and you can say
also
like 20 courses here.
During this first semester, we're working with like a partner, like a business industry partner. So we're learning just the theory in all these classes, but at the same time putting our like all this knowledge into this project. In like 2 years ago, we did a project with Riga International Airport, and from John, you did like different also business, right? Projects.
Yeah, we did a project with the municipality about young civic engagement, and the others did a project with the migration office. So you actually get to work with real partners, and it's a very hands-on approach. Like it's mostly doing, and you learn that way. And then you go to the semester 3, where the group splits in 2. Yeah.
So after having all this year in Latvia, in this Kuldiga town, yeah, you learn all this project. And on the second semester, you learn more of business, kind of startup information. And then you decide whether you want to continue your studies going to Lapland in Finland, which is like the northest, one of the northest places in Finland where John is at the moment. or you can choose to go to Estonia, to Tallinn. Yep, so it depends on what you choose. I think it's totally up to you. And yeah, you're supposed to go where you're like more, I don't know, inclined or whatever you would like to know better. And after that, you go to the other place. So if you choose Finland first, then you go to Finland for that semester and learn all these service design, advanced digital service design. And then you go to Estonia to write your thesis. And then the other way, if you chose to go first to Tallinn, then you need to go to Lapland on the 4th semester to write your thesis. So I did that, the second one. So I came first to Tallinn, and I studied in the ECA, that's the Academy of Arts, in the Design and Sustainable Transitions. That's like the main course if you choose to go to Tallinn first. And then I moved to Lapland to just write on my thesis. And yeah, that's like the main difference. And you're supposed to choose whatever your focus is.
Yeah, these two universities, they have like, it's not that one is better than the other. They have like different kind of focus, and depending on what you like more or what's your background, you can choose which one fits better with you. At the end, you have to go by the 3 countries, and you have to do your thesis in one of them. So yeah, that's SDSI. So one last thing that I can say about SDSI is the profile they look for is very creative, entrepreneurship, innovative. So you have to be on top of that. It's mostly people that have run projects that are like very active. They have communities. I think what the one thing that I can say about all the SDSI people that I met is that they are very driven. Like they don't like to stay put for a long time. So we have to start like doing things, and we all are doing a million different things. So if you feel like you are like that and you like to be doing stuff all the time, I think this is a very interesting program for you.
The real multipotentialite people.
Yes.
Los multipotenciales de verdad. Qué bestia. And maybe you can give us some application tips now that you have described the program. What can you give us?
Maybe we can run through the admission process.
Yeah, admission and application.
Yeah, it's an interesting admission process.
Yes.
So first you need your documents like any other program to apply to your bachelor's diploma, some personal documentation, official things. Yes. And then you need and I think this is a very important point if you want to apply to that, just not forget to do your English test, because some of them take like a couple of months even to do. I personally did the Duolingo English test, which is like the easiest one. But I don't know if the cheapest also, the cheapest and easiest, and it's like the results you get, I mean, within a week. But I don't know if they are also valid if you're trying to apply to other programs. Just take that into consideration to prepare for this English tests. But yeah, they accept a very wide selection of these. Then you will need your resume, your CV. You don't need like the very extensive work experience. In my cohort, I have all types of things, ages, and some people were like just recently graduated for bachelor's, but some other people did have a lot of experience. So it's a plus maybe, but I think your motivation in your assignment, it's what holds the real value here. And in my admission process, I only did a motivation letter. But now I see this a video. I think, John, you did a video motivation.
Yeah, right? I did a video of motivation letter and then the assignment.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, you have these assignments. So in this assignment, you have assignment. Yes, this challenge, if you want to frame it like that. In my generation, in my cohort, the challenge was about solving a problem of well-being within your country. It was very broad, super broad. So I just focused on the health public system in Mexico. But I think from John, it was like a totally different assignment or challenge. So I think what they care here is how you really frame the problem, how you look for these root causes instead of just like doing something easy or just like tackling the problem, understanding the problem, and then propose this solution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they change the topic of the challenge every year. So it doesn't matter if you get a hold on any of the past projects because they are going to change it. But it could help you to see what's like, what they're expecting, at least for this level of academic. There's a level of academic writing that has to be there. And of course, if you're creative, if you know how to frame a solution that is a possible, real, that it's financially stable, if you're doing a business, like all those things are taken into consideration. And if you get this right, you go to the interview process, which is a second filter, and then there's the final results. So just for you to have a number, and that's not like, I don't mean to scare you, but it's, at least in my cohort, we were like 600 to 700 applications, and there were 20 spots of scholarships, and there were 12 spots of self-funded, which means you have to pay, you're accepted in the program, but you have to pay your own tuition and your own living expenses. So what I mean by that is that it's very competitive, but it's possible. I mean, I'm here, Marcela is here, so we've been through this, we got it. It's been like weeks of work and nights without sleep, of course, but it's very possible to do it. And there are people, I know many people that applied more than once, that they maybe got into a self-funded spot and they couldn't afford it. So they applied it again next year and they got in. And that's a very common case here in SDSI. So just for you to know that it's complicated, yes, but it's possible and it's doable if you do it like at the right time with the right resources and with, of course, if you do it with the right help from the people that we already been through it, it gets easier. Yeah, so I think that's what I can say about SDSI. I don't know if there's any questions.
We have a lot of questions in the chat. Let's see. Well, let's read some of the questions. It says, hello, when do the applications start?
I think they open in October, maybe?
Yes, this is to be
somewhere
announced.
In October, and they end until February, maybe.
February. Yeah.
So you have plenty of time.
So a lot of time. Yeah, not because normally it's usually 2 months, but in this case it's a longer time. This is good.
Yeah, but mostly because of this challenge, because you need to work on the challenge. And another good tip would be to get into the research phase and maybe interview some people if you can, and like work on that solution and be more like this systems thinking instead of like solution oriented.
Okay, interesting. Regarding the challenge, is it always the same challenge, or the topic varies?
Topic changes completely. Yeah. It's like totally different from one another, so you don't know what you'll get.
Every year they change topics.
What was your topic about, John?
Mine was digital waste.
Digital waste. And yours, Marcela?
Well-being. Also super broad, just like well-being.
Yeah.
And like what kind, like how do you approach these projects, for example? Like you pick a problem and then you start working on the problem to find a solution, or and you have to do all the design process, all the research process before?
Well, for me, in my experience, it was super broad, just like well-being in the context of your country. From Mexico. So you could decide any well-being service as you would like. I decided to focus on the health care system, just because I found it like very complicated to broad and yeah. And my background is in user experience design, so UX designing digital products and all of this. So I kind of already have this notion of how to approach these kind of problems.
Mm-hmm.
But towards the end of submission, I realized that I was not doing like the right thing, because I completely went into like, oh, this is an app, of course, something like that, you know, like this is like this so digital solution, which may be. But because I started doing the research and realizing all these things, and then maybe it was not focused on this, it could only part it or just be like a tiny fraction of it, I like completely redid everything, and I proposed a different service, or like something towards like in this case, a preventative approach, like behavior, because us Mexicans is like, oh, you won't go to the doctor until you're like feeling like you're dying, right? We don't have this approach like, oh, maybe I should go to the doctor because there's something off, or just like my annual medical checkup. We don't have this generally, but it's something that I talk in this submission. Like maybe if we incentivize the people to come and like to take a little bit more attention to their health, they would reduce the number of like these very complex systems. Like a lot of people was going, and, you know, because of that, the doctors were like overworking, and, you know, that caused another thing. So yeah, that's like my main takeaway, just to think really on what is the problem, what is the root, and how would you solve it.
Okay, great. I guess, John, you did kind of the same.
Yeah,
Oh.
my problem was very different, but I think the important
I'm
thing
during the process. I mean, yeah.
yeah, the important thing is like being able to grab a huge problem and like narrow it down to something, and then find a solution for it, a realistic solution, something that can actually be built. I think that's very valuable for them, because that tells the jury that you can actually go through the process of solving a problem. You won't get overwhelmed, or you just like do a solution that it's very like utopic or impossible to actually implement. So they are looking for those notions of problem solving.
Okay, great. We have more questions. It says here, oh, this is common question. The answer is no, but it says, is there any maximum age to apply? No, for Erasmus Mundus, there's
No.
not a maximum age. You can be 40, 50, 60, 70. You can still do your lifelong learning journey.
Yeah, actually, in my program, we have a couple from the US. They're like 55 and 49, I think. And they are amazing, and they've been like doing great stuff here. So
And both of them are in the program?
yeah,
The couple? Ah, great.
And they came with their daughter and their cat.
Mhm.
It was
And they
very-
both got the scholarship, or one of them is
they
self-funded?
both got the scholarship.
They both, great. Oh,
Yeah, that's
this is
amazing.
good. This is a very nice. They help each other to prepare. They cope.
Yeah,
They
probably.
preparation. Nice, nice. Okay, other questions. The IELTS test must be the academic or the general training.
I think
I
that's
don't know.
your
IELTS, I don't know.
IELTS.
It just says IELTS, but I would assume the academic, but I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
sending an email to clarify. But they have like all these options also.
Yeah. Would you say which test did you take? TOEFL, IELTS, Cambridge?
I did a Duolingo because
I
I
did
found out
Duolingo
about
as
this.
well.
Yeah, it's the easiest to do.
You too, John? Duolingo?
Yeah, I did a Duolingo. But if you're planning to do more than one program, my suggestion will be the TOEFL.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
most
I think
valuable.
that's the
Even
standard.
outside Erasmus, you can like apply to that. You can apply to Chevening. You can apply to Erasmus, and it's universal. So everyone is going to accept the TOEFL. Duolingo, there are very few programs in Erasmus that actually accept Duolingo.
Yeah.
So be careful about that.
Yes.
SDSI, they do take it. So that was good for us.
Okay. Yeah, and they say the Duolingo is a bit easier, no?
It's faster.
Faster.
And the
Yeah.
timing
Sure,
to get it and
no?
cheaper.
Yeah.
Cheaper.
Very important aspect to take into account. No.
No, I mean, I did the IELTS a while ago, and I remember like I had to like wait a long time to get the results, and then you got to go to different kind of a process. So yeah, I didn't have the time, and that Duolingo just made it in my home. Just
Yeah.
1 day, it's like 1 hour, and you get the results like 3 days after that. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like TOEFL is like $200 in at least in Peru.
Super expensive. Yeah.
And Duolingo I think is 69, 670
Yeah,
around that
definitely.
price.
Okay, good. Well, in case you can do Duolingo, do your Duolingo. But if you want to diversify your options, then
yeah,
Yeah,
TOEFL
just
or IELTS. Yeah.
TOEFL or
IELTS
IELTS. Yes.
or TOEFL.
Yes. Okay. So, hi. Is it possible to work, for example, in a remote job while having this scholarship?
I tried on my first semester. I had like a half-time remote job in the US, but personally for me, I found it very hard because of the workload and the time.
It's hard, especially the
time zone.
semesters. Yeah.
It is possible if you can like organize and plan ahead. But yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I had a couple of friends doing even full-time jobs for their countries while in SDSI they didn't have a great time. They survived, but
You don't enjoy it. Exactly. You survive and you're like,
Yeah.
trying to solve.
But it's very demanding. It takes a lot of your time, and of course you want to explore and you want to also live in the city you're in, which is very unique. So I will say it will have to be a very not a super heavy load of work if you want to
Yeah.
keep
Maybe
working.
also
you
because
know, like, yeah.
here is a lot of teamwork because it's like mostly projects. You
Mhm.
expect to have a lot of meetings after school,
Yeah.
a lot. So yeah, with timings it might be very difficult, but it's possible.
Yeah, okay. Yes. Okay. So, Grace will ask, hello, what careers can apply to this Erasmus? I think all careers are welcome, right?
Every career is welcome.
Yeah.
It's for that. It's for people who are coming from different perspectives and backgrounds and want to explore design, human-centered design, service design in this case. So,
Yeah, you don't need a specific one.
Yeah, this is like the preferred, which is already very broad, like arts and humanities, journalism, information, business, law, ICT. But we have architects, we have literature, we have a lot of course, design. There's a lot of design, but you don't have to be in design to apply to this program.
yes, okay. Tenemos una pregunta en español. Dice, con respecto a los requisitos, el diploma y official transcript of records, ¿qué legalizaciones de qué instituciones deben tener?
Depende del país. En
Ajá.
Perú es apostillado.
Ajá. ¿En México? ¿En México?
Lo que pasa es que mi diploma ya tenía su parte en inglés, entonces no lo
ya.
tuve que apostillar, pero creo que sí se necesita cierto tipo de apostille. Mejor tenerlo que
Sí.
tener.
Oficial que sea del país. Vale.
Porque recuerden que la apostilla de la Haya vale en todos los países que están dentro del convenio, entonces incluso para futuros documentos no te sirve.
Y también no sé el proceso cuánto tome, ¿no? También considerarlo y que no sea algo que dejen hasta el final.
Sí, usualmente
veces.
las instituciones públicas no son muy rápidas, entonces tengan en cuenta eso también.
Sí, ok. Luego tenemos Camila. Hello, I have a question about the IELTS. It's better if we get 7 or we can have an advantage if we get a good score. I guess a better score because 7 is already a good score, right? 7.5.
I don't think this is a huge advantage.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a very, I mean, it is important, of course.
My first thought is that it might not be the first thing they look at. I think they care most about your potential, right? Like than your language, because the language can develop. Yeah.
Exactly. I think it's more on the assignment.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what holds the more weight in this case.
Yeah. What they're looking is for as I read it, is for potential, so I mean it's better to have motivation and potential, and the language is something that you develop in the
so practice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
of course you have to be mindful that everything is going to be in English.
Yes.
So every lecture, like everything that you have to write, so even if you get there, you have to start working on it. because it's gonna be easier and more comfortable for you once you're here to go through the process than if you're like trying to improve your English while you're here. So yeah, be mindful of that. But of course, as long as you get the minimum requirements, there's no problem at all.
Yes, definitely. No, also because usually these standardized tests they're not really showing your real potential, right? You might be nervous on the day of the exam, or you might, in general, feel nervous just giving exams that have a timing and the pressure, so. But yeah, it's important that you are aware that this is in English. This is going to be a very English-like experience, so better to have a good English knowledge and dominance, because otherwise it would be just uncomfortable for you. Yes, okay. It says, I don't have a language certificate, but I did a master's degree in English. Could I use that to prove my language skills? Normalmente sí aceptan creo que cuando tienes un English degree no es necesario tener un certificado, but ask just in case.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they mentioned this here. I will still send an email and be sure and ask, because I think it's possible, but I don't know if that's like the regular process or you have to submit something else.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay. But as long as I said, it says there, no? Yeah, you're exempt from the language requirement. So, yeah, dice básicamente que sí, estás exento de presentar algo más. Okay, so, dice, bueno, la misma pregunta, ¿no? Tips to prepare for TOEFL. I have a video en mi YouTube channel. Tengo un video en mi canal de YouTube con eso. Es gratuito, pueden verlo. A ver, Katia, si nos ayudas con el link por aquí. Que eso es un poco más largo. Vamos a preguntar sobre el programa. TOEFL is more relevant than IELTS. Would you say that?
It's the same.
Yeah, there's not a difference. Yeah. Is it possible to apply with Duolingo? Yes, we already said that. I don't have an actual certificate of English, but I am part of an NGO from USA. It's possible if they can give me a proof of my English skills to apply. I don't think so. I don't think so. This doesn't replace your bachelor's. Like, if your degree is in English, then you're exempt. But if, like, in any other case, you need to present the certificate. Okay. Okay, so that's in the EMMIE. This is about EMMIE. What program do you recommend for a business career? No, yeah. ¿Cuánto tiempo aproximado les tomó concretar su challenge para el assignment? How long did it take for you to complete your challenge for the assignment?
Don't remember, actually. I do remember I was working full-time back then, so it's something I would do like after my daily job. But yeah, I don't know, about 2 weeks maybe or so. It really depends on your topic and how much do you need to like research and do this.
Yeah, for me, I remember I started doing all my documents, like the apostilles and asking the documents for the university in July, around July, August. And then when the challenge came out, I think it took me like 2 weeks for the essay and maybe 2 or 3 weeks for the videos around that time. Yeah,
you need to do like this research, like document first, like with how do you develop and came to the solution, and then you need to explain the solution in like 5 minutes, I think. So it takes time to like go super broad and then like to cut it short. So
yeah. Okay. And after this, after you pass the first barrier, then you go to the interview, right? We have a question about the interview. It says, what to talk about in the interview? Can they give us some tips? Can you give us some tips for the interview?
Yeah, well, for my interview, I think we talk about the motivation letter, a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your experience, what you expect from like this program, and like what would happen afterwards. Also, it's very important. So it's a very, very fast interview. I think it's 30 minutes, and they mostly want to get to know you and what are your like ambitions and like what drives you into learning or getting into this program.
Yeah, I think once you get into the interview stage, they already checked out that you are a decent student. You can write like academically, you can understand problems, that you're past that. So it's more like, who is this person? Do I want him here in my program? Does he gonna get along with all these other cultures? Is he gonna survive in a different
I
environment?
check. I think somebody got asked like, "Do you like the cold weather?" or something like that. Like, are you prepared for the cold weather?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like,
they asked
yeah,
that. Like, do you like the cold weather? Like, how much have you traveled before? If you
for the
work
cultural
with
shocks. Yeah.
international, like, yeah, different things that shows that you're adaptable enough, because this could seem really fun, and it is, but it's also very exhausting to be changing cultures and
Extremely
countries every
exhausting.
4 or 5 months.
Yes.
Uh,
At the end of the program, you want to just stay in one place, have
you
a
want a home
ball or a
base.
pet, and
Yeah,
never
yeah.
forget in your life.
Yes. So it's not that, I mean, it's not that easy. It's fun, but it comes with their own heartaches.
It's a
And
life-changing experience, right? But it has, of course,
yeah,
challenges. Yes.
you have to be very adaptable. You have to be very minimalist, and there's a lot of things that go into it. And I think they are also looking for people that can survive that process.
Exactly.
Uh, yeah.
This is very Erasmus Mundus. Like, you have to be the kind of person that can be adaptable in the whole world, and just
Yeah.
so no matter
They
what.
put you in the desert with a bottle of
Yeah.
water, and you have to
Yes,
figure it out.
exactly. This is very
And
Yeah, I
Erasmus.
was looking at a meme the other day that said like, if you can travel in public transport in another foreign country that you don't speak the language, you can do anything in the world. So
Yes,
that's the kind of mindset. Yeah.
definitely. Okay. Well, thank you very much, John and Marcela. We have some more questions, but maybe you can address them directly in the chat, so we can go directly to EMMIE. So now I welcome, bienvenidas a Patty y Daniela. Welcome, Daniela and Patty. You can now take the stage, introduce yourself, tell us where you're coming from, where are you from, and where are you at the moment, and talk about EMMIE. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. How are you? My name is Patty. I'm with Daniela. Well, I'm a social entrepreneurship from Peru. I have an impact business from 5 years. And basically, we are teaching Quechua, working with companies. That's like really, really summarized. But right now, I'm with Daniela. She also has a business. Maybe you can introduce yourself, Dani.
Yes, thank you so much, Patty. Hi, everyone. My name is Daniela. I'm the founder of Lounge. I already sent like a brief paragraph on the chat, but I'm going to be, of course, talking a bit further later on once we explain the requirements of the program. But as Patty mentioned, I am basically I have a social enterprise, which is basically having a business that has impact, and we teach languages and we invest a percentage of our revenue. We buy school supplies for kids in Honduras. So I'm from Honduras and happy to be here with the Peruvian community. I would say that that's about it in summary.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
We have full entrepreneurs here. Great. Okay, so let's talk about EMMIE. What can you tell us about the program? That Patty is a newly incoming student to EMMIE,
Yes.
and Daniela is more experienced. So we have both of the experiences here.
Yes, I invited Daniela because she actually is finishing the program right now. I just started. I'm here in Croatia. Well, to really, really be the most summer as possible, EMMIE is an Erasmus Mundus Master in Impact Entrepreneurship. And basically, this Erasmus is to promote social businesses and social entrepreneurships. And what I wanted to be very clear is that you don't have to have a business to be part of the EMMIE program and to have a scholarship. It just happens to be that me and Daniela already had an ongoing business before applying to the program. Also, there are other people. For example, I live with other 3 girls here in Croatia that are part of the program, and they won the full scholarship, and they did not have a business yet. So you can also apply to the program if you have a business idea, and of course, if your story and your purpose goes with the purpose of the program. I think that's really important. I don't know, Daniela, if you can add something.
Yeah, I think to add to what Patty is mentioning, that's really, really important to know, to not feel discouraged by the fact that maybe at the moment you do not have an ongoing project. That's no issue at all. If you feel, let's say, just motivated to be able to create a change in the world through business, I would say that this is definitely the program for you. You're going to notice that once you arrive to the masters, of course, they're going to provide you the necessary tools for you to be able to build your business, right? So if you are just enthusiastic about the business world as a whole, this is definitely the master's degree for you. As Patty has on screen, you're going to be able to see how every single semester is divided and what you're going to be focusing on over the course of the 1 year and a half. That's also something really important to mention. The master's degree lasts 1 year and a half. Usually, Erasmus Mundus sometimes, if I'm not mistaken, right, they last 2 years, but this one lasts 1 year and a half. So you're going to kickstart your semester in Croatia, where Patty is at the moment. They're going to be touching base on the basics of business, so getting to know several, basics such as marketing, finance, so on and so forth. After that, you're going to be moving forward to Lithuania. That by far has been my favorite stop so far. It was amazing, such an incredible. I mean, all of the countries have been amazing, but I just fell in love with Vilnius, honestly. There in Lithuania, you're going to go deeper into much more context of how to, progressively build your business. And lastly, you're going to conclude the program in Belgium, which is where I am at the moment. I'm currently finishing my last semester of the program. And throughout this year and a half, besides the class, of course, you're going to be having a lot of, let's say, conferences, obviously startup focused, and also a lot of connections with people that are going to help you push your project to be able to make it a reality. So I would say that it's definitely, for me, it has been a life-changing experience. I guess that for Patty has also started to be one, right? I know that you have also started to go to several conferences. I think that maybe you could also tell them a little bit about that. So like, besides what we see at school, what else do you feel that yeah, they have been teaching us so far?
Yes. Well, like Daniela said, I just started the program and I am in this point. Actually, I've been doing a lot of conferences here in Croatia. The university that we are, that is called SUSEM, is inviting to a lot of conferences. For example, last week I went to a conference called InfoVip, and it was fully paid. We only had to pay the bus and the accommodation, but for example, lunch, everything was fully paid. And you have no idea how many opportunities to do networking you're going to have here with other entrepreneurs, of course, from the program, and also with another people like developers, etc., etc. And I think what we should also be talking about is about the career opportunities for graduates. Daniela, I think that's what we have to talk about.
Yes, absolutely. I think we can also touch base after this about like the admission process. So if you could share your screen with the admission part, I'm also going to be talking a bit more about that. If you want, maybe I can talk about the admission first, and then I'll let you guys know a bit more about what opportunities present after you,
Okay.
finalize the process. In terms of the admission criteria, can you click on it, please? Thank you so much. So as I mentioned, it's pretty straightforward. What you're going to be needing is your motivation letter, a scholarship, we would say a letter also to basically state why you believe you are going to take the best advantage of the scholarship being given to you. You also, of course, have to prove your language skills and have a strong academic background with either entrepreneurial experience or interest, right? As Patty mentioned, there's no need for you to have your business already, but if you have shown interest, right, maybe you have been working in a startup incubator or something of that sort, that of course adds extra, I would say, points, I would say. So after that section of uploading all of your documents that are going to be done in that same page, sorry about that, in that same page that Patty is showing, you're going to create your own login credentials. just as if you're opening a page on Facebook, right? For example, you're going to upload all of your documents there. And after that, you're going to be letting you know, of course, either of the results, if it's a positive result or if it's a negative result. If it's a positive result, they're going to ask you for an interview. Here, Patty has like on screen much more of like in detail of what the papers that they're going to ask you. So it's important and something that I would say many people are not going to tell you, but I'm going to tell you today is that you have to read. If you want to win a scholarship and you say, no, I'm just going to, go to some conferences and see what I can understand, it's not enough. Like, honestly, it's not enough. You have to sit down, lock in one day, one entire afternoon, and just, concentrate y literalmente solo analizar absolutamente todo lo que está en la página, like word by word, because that's the only way that you're going to feel certain that what you're doing is actually the right thing, right? So I'm going to pass on the mic again to you, Patty, for you to explain maybe, let's say, how was the interview process? I know we chatted a lot throughout your process.
Yes.
It was really cool because Patty and I got to know each other while she was in the process. So yeah, it's an interesting story there.
Okay, yes. Also, I want to talk about a little bit of my journey through going through the application of EMMIE. It was last year. I was really looking into scholarship opportunities, and when I found Erasmus Mundus Master in Impact Entrepreneurship, I knew I had to apply because I felt like this scholarship was calling me. Because I am actually really passionate about entrepreneurship, so I had to get the scholarship however I could. So I got obsessed about EMMIE. I follow them on Instagram. You can follow the page. It's here. Follow us. I follow them on Instagram, and one day they posted all of the new incoming people that were in the program, and there was Daniela. So I, like a stalker, followed every single one of them, and I talked to them. But I forgot to talk to Daniela. And actually, like most of them told me like, hey, well, all the information is in the page. Like, they basically didn't want to meet with me. They didn't want to give me more information. They were like, in their own world. But actually, I forgot to talk to Daniela, and she talked to me. I guess because she saw my profile that I was also an entrepreneur, and she talked to me and she said, hey, I saw that you follow me. I guess it's because of EMMIE. Let me know if you need any info. And I said, oh my God, please, yes. I definitely follow you about that. And I forgot to talk to you. I've been talking to some other of people from your cohort, but I would like to meet with you if you have time. And she said, of course. Daniela was an angel to me because I had already done my motivation letter, and I showed it to her. And she told me, girl, that's not it. And she then sent me her application letter, and it was a beautiful story. So my recommendation and a huge tip is that basically you have to write your own personal story, like if it wasn't a story tale, from a book, like a piece of literature. That's our tip. And that's what I did from my motivation letter. Also, Daniela did that for her. And I've talked to some other people from my cohort, and they did that. So I would say the first paragraph of your motivation letter has to be very captivating and in the form of a storytelling. Why? Because most of people who read the motivation letters read the first paragraph, and if they like it, they continue reading it. If they don't like it, they will go to the next one. Because, for example, this Erasmus Mundus Master has over 1,000 applications. So that you have to write like a beautiful story about your life, your purpose, and why you want this scholarship, and how it's going to help with the business idea, if you have a business idea, and or the business that you're working on, and how it's going to help you get to the place where you want to get. So you have to sell them the idea, of course, about you first, about you, about who you are as a person, what are your passions, why are you motivated to be an entrepreneur, and then what are your passions, where you want to get with this scholarship. I don't know if you can add something to that, Danny.
No, I think like you summarized it super, super perfectly. And by the way, your first draft was amazing. Don't say that it was not. It was already amazing. You did all of the great job. But it was really a really cool, we would say, coincidence that we got to, share that space. And also when, of course, Patty got the scholarship, I was so happy. I almost cried because I felt so happy for her. Because if you're someone that is really, really passionate, let's say if you already have your business or if you're thinking on creating one, this is definitely like 100%, please apply because it's definitely the masters for you. I would say that another thing that helped a lot in our application processes was, besides a strong and well-written motivation letter that, as Patty mentioned, it has to be something that changed basically your life, and you put it into a story and explain why is it that is motivating you to continue building a business or something of that sort. I would say that it's also in the way that you also portray the reason and why you believe the scholarship should be given to you. So for example, in my case, I tried to connect my motivation letter to my scholarship letter, so it could be like the continuation of both. So I said, because of what I explained in this part, this is a reminder that I am committed. In my case, my project is about making education more accessible in Honduras, right? So I made sure to make that connection. So try to make as many connections as you can. Try to be as creative as you are able to, because as Patty mentioned already, you have to stand out. So it's like you're starting to pitch yourself and your business from the start without actually meeting them, right? And then once you go to the interview, if you want more details about what type of questions and stuff they ask you, you can feel free to reach out to me through LinkedIn, or I guess to Patty as well. I know that she is going to be happy to help out. Because of the time, I don't think that we're going to be able to dive that deep into the exact details, but it's in general what you can expect from a usual interview of a scholarship process. They are going to ask you to talk more about yourself, to talk more about the reason why you want to go. And one of the most crucial aspects as well is that they're going to ask you what you're going to do after the program, right? Of course, this is a bit controversial because some of us, maybe we might want to stay in Europe, others we might want to go back to our countries. So it's really important that you see this as an opportunity to learn and go back and give back to your country, right? So that is also something crucial to mention in your interview, because the purpose of this, we would say, scholarships, right, is to being able to support Latin American talent so we can go back to our countries and make Latin America even greater, right? So I would say that. Then I guess maybe we can talk a bit more about like the graduate opportunities, which is something that I'm close to doing. Unfortunately, my program is about to end. I feel a bit nostalgic already talking about that, because you're going to see that the friendships that you create, Patty, I'm sure that you already have started seeing that you basically build your life with these people. And over the course of 18 months, you become so connected to them because you have the same interests, you have the same purpose, and it's just a wild, like just amazing experience. So we would talk about graduate opportunities, and I saw one of the questions also in the chat that someone was asking if there's a possibility that you could work remotely meanwhile you take the course, the master's. In general, I would say that it's a possibility. However, there are going to be several times in which you're going to ask yourself, oh my God, I want to go with my classmates and hang out, right? Or, oh my God, I have this homework, but I also have this deliverable for my job. So it's like you will be juggling too many things. So I would suggest, if you still want to continue working, maybe, let's say just, I don't know, optemos por un part-time job rather than a full-time job. So you're able to seize every opportunity, because if not, you're going to feel really, really collapsed by, of course, your job, right? In terms finally, of the graduate opportunities, I would say it's you define your own success. So as Patty mentioned, if you know how to put your goals and you know the reason why you're going to the program, if you start just as Patty is doing, going to conferences early on, start networking, that you're able to meet people that inspire you and also connect you to important opportunities. I would say that there's not going to be any limit for you, honestly. In the context of EMMIE, once you arrive to Belgium, they provide you a 2-year permit for job hunting processes once you graduate. So there's that, we would say, gap of opportunity there in the case that you would like to pursue a career in Europe in general. So I would say, in general and in summary, that is essentially the opportunities that you can expect after you graduate. And of course, like just the fact that you're going to be able to have the Erasmus Mundus brand on your personal brand, that is also really heavy. Because, for example, without that, I wouldn't be able to be here. Like, let's say right after this session, I'm of course going to send a message to Viviana because I'm loving what she's doing, right? So you get to meet people that are aligned in your path. So I would say that. I don't know, Patty, if maybe I'm missing something.
Oh yeah, I wanted to keep talking about maybe some of the process of application. For example, we were talking about our motivation letter, but other two important parts of the application is the scholarship, 1 page maximum of why you want the scholarship, and the other one is here. If you already have a well-developed entrepreneurial project which you plan to implement during your master, please provide a short page description addressing the problem, the solution, and the current state of development of your project. So here in the part of the scholarship, that is 1 page maximum, I would recommend to, for example, talk about maybe how you've been paying for stuff in your life, what has been your experience about doing, for example, voluntariado. I don't know how to say that in English. About extracurricular classes you've taken. Keep talking about your life experience and your motivation that aligns with the program that we're talking about, Impact Entrepreneurship. For example, in my scholarship letter, I talked a lot about that since I was a kid, I would propose in class to, for example, the name of here in Peru, for 6th grade, you put a name for your promoción. And basically, for example, I told the story that I proposed to put the name of an important activist here in Peru and that I didn't won. And then I kept talking about how in high school, I proposed to be a part of the student counselor, but didn't won, and like how I'm constantly doing, being a proactive person during my life, and being part of different communities. And of course, that without the scholarship, I wouldn't be able to get into the masters, and how important it is to me to take, for example, my business to the next level or something like that, to keep going with the story. And I've been talking to some of the people from my cohort, and they told me that in that scholarship letter they put, for example, maybe they did like intercambio cultural, like in another country for university, and they paid fully by themselves, that they are hustlers, but without the money they couldn't be able to do the scholarship, something like that. I don't remember what you put, Dani, in your scholarship letter.
I would say that I did the same as you did, just making sure to also connect it to my motivation letter. So if you go really personal and you're honest, of course you're not going to go and inventar una historia trágica, ¿verdad? Solo para poder como tener más
Rosa de Guadalupe.
Sí, exacto. Pero sí han pasado por algo difícil. Por ejemplo, en mi caso, yo realicé mis estudios en Taiwán de pregrado. So obviously going to the other side of the world at 17 years old, I almost had a heart attack, right? And como que I hit burnout. So I talked about that, right? And I talk about how burnout helped me to just realign my priorities in life, right? And my priority in life is now, it's not about achieving, it's about making sure that I'm pushing towards making education much more accessible in Honduras, in Latin America in general. So I made sure to connect that, right? So in Lounge, which is my business, we always like deliver the school supplies. And I made sure to mention like every single day that I go to do those deliveries, it's a reminder of my commitment for this. And EMMIE is a pathway to make this greater. So if you can do that connection, I think it's just like, oh, you tiran el micrófono, pues dicen, wow. O sea, en serio está súper comprometida con lo que quiere alcanzar, ¿no? It's not about, I would say, mainly it's not about continue talking about you, because if you're applying, of course, you're an excellent candidate, but they don't care about your grades anymore. They don't care about, oh, that I was selected by this. No, like they want to know your story, you know? Porque we, of course, know that you're a great student. We, of course, everyone here was a straight A student in high school, in university, but at the end of the day, we already put all of that experience in the CV, right? Then your motivation letter and your scholarship letter, and then also this part right here that is your like your entrepreneurial project proposal is your time to shine and show them where your heart lies, right? So as you see, well, both Patty and I are really passionate about our projects and our businesses. I think Patty has been on the market for over 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. And I've been in the market for 3 years now. So of course, like I breathe, live every day, Lounge, which is my company. So you have to make sure to show that passion in your application. In the case that you have lived, I see here on another point as well, that if you live in a country other than that of your passport and nationality, you have to make sure that you apply from your own country. That's something really important. So also take that into consideration. And going back to the English requirement, that's really, really important. And I'm going to explain why it's important. And not only because in Lounge we focus in doing that. No, it's because the first time around that I applied, I was actually rejected for the scholarship. And I didn't send my grade for the TOEFL because I thought that because I already had my bachelor's degree in English, that it was enough, right? So I didn't send that. Of course, there might be other factors why I wasn't selected, but also obviously not adding that, I guess, added another layer as to why I wasn't selected. So I would mention, please make sure to do your TOEFL in advance and prepare accordingly, because it's essential. Like as Viviana was mentioning, and also the couple of speakers before us were mentioning, it's going to be a really heavily invested English program. Every single thing that you do is going to be in English. So make sure that you prepare accordingly. And I would definitely suggest doing TOEFL over the other options that exist, based also in the same reason why I think John was mentioning. It's because the TOEFL is much more widely accepted, and it has a duration of 2 years. And it's also pretty expensive, I would say. So it's better, to do that investment, and you're able to use it several times in the case that you're applying to several applications as well. In the case as well, if you need support with the preparation of your TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo, you can feel free as well to reach out to us through Instagram. I already sent I sent my LinkedIn, and I also sent the Instagram of Lounge. And yes, this is a small ad that I wanted to put right there, because we definitely support applicants for Erasmus Mundus, Chimney, many young professionals to be able to, of course, take preparation tests for the TOEFL and the Duolingo. So that in general, and I'll send the mic back to you, Patty. I think.
Yes, of course. I just wanted to highlight one little thing. I was not a straight A student. I was a terrible university.
Because there is a question about that. It says, how do you do to overcome your great grades? Can you explain that you're not so great grades? Can you explain that in your motivation letter?
So bad at uni, but basically because it was really competitive, and I actually had a little breakdown. And well, I did terrible. Thing is, my grades are sucked, and I was worried about it. But actually, if you read here all the documents and the the requirements to apply to this master, it does not say that you have to have a minimum of grade. So
Yeah.
my grades were shit. I won't say how bad, because it's embarrassing. But you basically have to talk about your, for example, you can compensate. In my case, I compensate that I already have a business going on,
Exactly.
or with your professional experience, where you've worked. And of course, if you have one teacher where you had good grades, which was my case, that can speak good about you in the letters of recommendation, go for it. I mean, that's the thing you have to highlight. Of course, most of my career I had really bad grades, but in one course, I really had really good grades, and that's the teacher that I called to do my recommendation letter. And yes, I mean, also recommendation letters, I think they are really important. It's really important. I would say don't overlook about it. I fortunately have had some really good teacher, a good teacher that was more than happy to help me, and so a professional recommendation that was really helpful from an important person. So everything is important.
Yeah, great that you mentioned that, because that's also something I wanted to say. And I'm going to say this in Spanish because most of our speakers here are in Spanish. No se desanimen por las notas bajas, sobre todo si es que están en un máster de emprendimiento, porque tienen que pensar que para el emprendimiento se requieren otras habilidades que las habilidades académicas. Entonces, definitivamente para el emprendimiento, lógicamente se valoran más ciertas habilidades que son más aplicables, ¿no? Más hands-on. Definitivamente las notas son importantes hasta cierto punto. En el caso de Patty, si ella pudo demostrar que tuvo buenas notas en algo que le interesaba, porque también la motivación, o sea, nuestra motivación cuando estamos en la universidad no tiene que ser exactamente súper alta para todos, porque muchos ni siquiera sabemos qué queremos hacer bien en la universidad. Recién lo descubrimos en ese proceso, lo descubrimos después. Entonces, hoy por hoy, como estamos entendiendo las tendencias de la educación y la innovación en educación superior, ya se valoran otros aspectos. Entonces, con las notas no se puede hacer nada, pero lo que sí pueden hacer es hacer algo adicional a las notas que demuestre la motivación, que demuestre el potencial de impacto sobre todo, ¿no? Entonces, los proyectos siempre son una buena salida para esto. Es algo que enseñamos dentro de la academia también. Enseñamos diseño y creación de proyectos de impacto, para poder construir esta narrativa, ¿no? Así que, bueno, más de eso lo podemos hablar luego.
Yes.
I'm going to thank Daniela and Patty for your interventions. Your tips have been really helpful.
One last thing I want to say to everyone is that I think this is your last chance to apply to the program. Because if we see here, end date 2028, but that means that the last cohort that is getting into the program is next one, right?
Yeah. Most likely they will reapply for more funding, ¿no?
Yes.
Sí, lo más probable es que ellos el programa vaya a reaplicar por más funding, pero claro, este año y seguramente el próximo van a ser los últimos que dan becas hasta 2029 de repente, ¿no? Que reaplican. Siempre pasa eso en los programas.
Okay.
Pero vale. Muchas gracias, Patty, Daniela. We're going to give the floor now to Responsible Futures. We have here Like, and we have as well Kimberly that are joining us from, I don't know where Like is. Where are you from, Like, and where are you joining us from at the moment? Oh, you're muted.
Yes. Yeah. Hi, I'm in Belgium. So I'm joining you from Brussels.
Okay, great. And Kimberly, where are you joining from? Where is Kimberly?
I'm from Kimberly. I'm from Colombia.
And where are you joining from? Brussels as well?
I'm here in Genk,
Genk.
Belgium. Yes.
Okay, great. Well, welcome. And this is a rather new program, right? If I understand correctly, and it's also about design. It's very interesting. So let's hear it. Welcome.
Yes. Hello. Good evening, everyone. At least it's evening here. I think for you it's then buenos tardes, buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes, buenas tardes.
Now I'm going to stop with any Spanish words. Kimberly is here for that. Can you all see my, because we prepared a presentation, can you see it well? Is it readable? Yes? Okay, great. I see the thumbs up. Well, that's great. Okay, so I'm here to present, let me say, the first Erasmus Mundus Joint Master in Design and Healthcare. We started this year, so it's actually it's very new. As was always, yes. So it's super excited also to be here and to be presenting this. So if you're listening and you are a recent design graduate with a passion for design and healthcare, passionate about using your skills to make a difference in your community, if you believe in a responsible future, in a future where design is a driven force for equity, access, and innovation in healthcare, then this might be a master for you. And we would highly recommend you to apply, but we'll get to that soon. This is a master. It originated from people all working in design and healthcare. We all recognize this need that we need a new generation of designers that answer to this, the complexities of the healthcare landscape. And I would say the mind and heart of the master's program is Andrea Wilkinson. Sadly, she couldn't be here today because of personal circumstances, but me and my colleagues, so me, Kimberly, and I think Marta is there still too, but I can't see her, but she's there too. We will try as good as possible to answer all of your questions. But for the future, also, you will be a lot in contact with other colleagues of us, and that's Andrea, Floris is someone else, but I won't get into that. But so what we're trying to say here, if you're a designer and you want to respond to communities, you want to make care more inclusive, more accessible, you want to contribute to the care system, but you also want to explore Europe, you want to make friends, connections, you want to network, something that will experiences that will last a lifetime. Yes, that's why we're here. This is our student group now. We are a small group, a maximum of 21 students, which actually, for me, it's very nice, especially as a teacher. It's personal atmosphere. We're there for each other. But I think Kimberly is going to tell more about that. We're also a small school, so well, it's nice and cozy in Belgium, let's say it like that. The background is cross-disciplines. We have people who study product design, graphic design, there's an architect. But what ties us all together is this ambition to impact care, to contribute to care, and that's through design. The setup, so we're also a 2-year master where there are 3 locations, that's Belgium, Portugal, and the UK. The first 2 semesters are in Belgium, then Portugal, and then next year, the first semester is in the UK. Your last semester will be spent on your thesis and your master project, and then you can decide in which country you will do that. There are places for self-funded students. There are places for a scholarship scheme. The tuition is 5,000 euros per year, and that's regardless of origin. Then, we just started. Here you see it was a sunny day in Belgium, Belgium, the heart of Europe. All schools and courses are linked to, we can say some of Europe's foremost research institutions. And in Belgium, we're linked to the Caring and Design Research Cluster. In Portugal, it's in Aveiro, by the way, and the link to the University of Aveiro. And there it's linked to the Health and Design Research Group. And in the UK, the semester will take place in Sheffield, at the Sheffield Hallam University. And there you have the research group Lab for Living. So that's already like a very, very nice base to be in. What does the program entail? It's innovative learning, we call it. It's also very flexible and responsive curriculum, because we try to I think that's also a caring part of the master itself. We try to see who are the applicants, who are the students who were rewarded a place, who got a place on our group. What is their background, disciplines, expertise, and that really helps us shape the course content. Like it happens quite naturally, actually. What is it also? It's very future focused. It is embedded in the individual communities of care in each country. But we really try to support students' ambitions. We take also time for that at the beginning of the semester to really make sure, like, what are you expecting to gain and what can we offer, and how can we also make things happen that weren't initially planned. So that's how we try to run the program. Here should have been like an image, but that's disappeared. But I just want to go deeper into like the 3 programs that are now running. I will go back to this slide maybe, because otherwise you can't see it. But at the moment we have master classes, and for example, we had a very beautiful master classes from people that came from India on cultural awareness and differences. That was a beautiful start of this semester. Then we have also Niels Hendricks, and he will be teaching more in depth on design research methods, but also really looking into like how does design fits or is framed within academics. So that's also interesting to mention, that it's also kind of preparational for a PhD project, amongst others. Then we also have Amber de Koen. She's like an expert in positionality, so that's also a very big part of the whole program. Like, who are you? Where do you come from? What is your position, and how do you see yourself in this framework of care? But also self-care is there also a very big part in her program, her model. And then what I teach, that's also like very nice. It's more project-based, so it's a service learning program. So we're working together with the city of Genk. It's a city where Kimberly is based at the moment. And we're gonna like work together with the civil servants, so with the government actually of Genk, but then also like the people of Genk, and see how we can connect the two and do projects like really that are gonna be hopefully be meaningful, and that will also continue to run along when new students come. Or so that's more in depth, the program. Only for Belgium, I can't say everything, but go to the website if you want to know more about the program. It's all based on these 3 things. So designing with care communities, designing inclusive care communication, designing and understanding care systems. And there we use design as this tool for social change. I put this picture in like deliberately, because it's like this stereotypical picture of designers, I would say, but that's not, we don't see design as, come now let's all build chairs. No, we see it as very broad sense, designing its products, its service, its systems, its experiences. So, but I thought it was I don't know. And this is Kimberly, by the way, so you're gonna hear her speak soon. Yes, the students will work with design research group and agencies who work together from outside. Like, we have our little cohort in Belgium, but we'd like to try to get as much other expertise in there, because I think that's our core. It's caring, it's participatory, it's inclusive. So we want to reflect that also, like in the course itself, in the courses itself. And this was, for example, the Care Lab from Barcelona. Very interesting. Look into them if you're interested in design and care. They call themselves design activists. Some other organizations, designers that we work with or going to work with. So yeah, it's a nice opportunity also, this masters, to expand your network and meet new people. We were asked also to point out some career opportunities. Of course, we are a new masters, so we don't have graduates yet. What we do have is a background with with similar educational programs. So we took examples from there, and I highlighted a bit the things because it's just so broad. And I think we also, what we do most is actually, like every student comes with their backpack, so to speak, and we just add some extra things in that backpack, and hopefully that information, insights, experiences, they learn them more to find like what they want to do in life and where they can contribute. So you see, it's very broad. Yeah, but it's also like you have a lot of people who go into the design sector, design and care focused. But for example, we also have one graduate who is now the innovation lead at a residential and elderly care. So that's also like a career opportunity because we are on that. Yeah, we highlight both of them. You can do a PhD after, you can work at a city administration, but it's a very broad career opportunities. Then tips for a successful application. I think Kimberly will also get into that soon, but a lot of things already have said that also apply for us. The not highlighted part is like a formal application. Of course, you need the educational documents, you need your proof of English, you need design portfolio. That is important because most of the people on the selection committee they have a background in design, also in design research, by the way, don't forget that. That's this intersection that we work in, design research. But what is the most important, and I think that's the red thread throughout all what was said here tonight, is the statement of motivation. And we really want to see your passion, your motivation. Also, like authenticity, I think there's very important. Please no ChatGPT motivation letters. Like, who are you and why do you want to work in care? Why did you choose this master's? Why does it speak to you? How does the program speak to you? How do you feel like you can contribute to the program? And yeah, so that's really what we are looking for. And now I'm going to give the word to Kimberly.
Yes, well, as Lieke said, this is the first cohort of our master's degree. So we, the Latin American community, we are shaping the experience too. So I find some values on learning because the master is only 1 month ago, the beginning. So the projects are based on real world problems. That means that you can also work with companies and we in the real world and in the cities that you are. Also, the approaches are especially systemic and participative perspectives. For example, in design research or in systemic thinking. So it's considerable that you have this knowledge and that interest and in the moment that you apply. And on the other side, there is a focus or an interest too on the program to focus on marginalized communities, especially on care. For example, people that sometimes don't take research and design solutions for their needs. So that's also a thing that is work on the master. Our first cohort have 8 students from 6 different countries of Latin America, from Bolivia, Peru, Colombia, Mexico, Brazil, El Salvador. So there is such a wide range of people with different focus as well, because some of them are graphic designers, some others industrial designers, an architect from Bolivia too. So the design spectrum is high, and also the solutions that you can propose into the master is high as well. Into the the classes, we noticed that also there are an openness to Latin American design frames. You can propose what are your perspective, from where are you from, and yeah, that's it. If you can, I don't know, take advice of me or for an application, also you can find here my email, and you can contact me for something else related with the with some of the questions that I read. It's mandatory to have a design diploma, and related with the first one, that can healthcare also include natural science and research. I think that is very important. I mean, not to be a designer in terms of a bachelor, but it's so important to have a design portfolio, like a creative perspective, because it's one requirement of at the moment of the application. Yes, I don't know. Could you share your LinkedIn? Yeah, in one moment. And the last one from Sabina, can you offer any tips, examples on how to build a strong portfolio, or like common mistakes when building it? I think that there is not like a I think there is not like a pattern to do a portfolio. Maybe you can find which are your interests and focus on it in the moment that you can that you want to communicate your projects. For example, my interests are related with design processes and design research, so that is the focus that I want to take into the master and into the portfolio. So maybe you can take some of the values that you can find also at the website of the program, for example, the participative perspectives, something related with policies, and yeah, that's a little recommendation and a tip.
Right, thank you, Kimberly, and thank you, Liki. We have some questions of the audience here. It says here, can healthcare also include natural science and research?
I'm gonna try to formulate an answer, or Marta, did I hear you? No. No, okay, good. I thought I heard someone else.
Hi,
I can try to explain, Lika, if you want.
Yeah, go for it. Yes,
Hi, I'm Marta. I'm on the administrative side of the program, and I'm just here supporting Lika. It can include your proposal, and your research can include natural science, definitely. Just you have to have a feeling for design, or the way you would handle the problem, or the need that is there should be in a design way. I read that, for example, there was a question of if an industrial designer can apply. Definitely design in the broadest sense. It can be industrial, it can be architecture, it can be space design, urban design, really very broad. And your topics can really, it doesn't necessarily need to care about humans. It's a big part of the program, but it can definitely also entail environmental care. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
I want to contribute also to that. For example, one of the projects that we're going to start with the city of Genk is, for example, the depavement of the city. So we highlight there also it's care in a very big word, and we see that also that's caring for, on the one hand the planet, but also for the citizens of Genk themselves. So maybe that's also like a practical answer to your question, or more in depth. Yeah.
Thank you very much. We have more questions. It says, is it mandatory to have a design diploma? Is it mandatory?
Or useful experience, I would say. But
Okay.
a design diploma, of course, helps. But if you've graduated and then you worked like in the design industry or in a design studio or an agency or something like that for years, or you've done design projects on your own.
Like if you can prove to have developed the design skills and the design competences,
Yes,
whether
that's
it is through formal education or through a practical approach, it works.
Yes.
Okay, because
Yes.
the next question is also related to that. It says, hi, I'm really interested in the Responsible Futures Master. I have a degree in mechanical engineering, but I've been working as an industrial designer in furniture, and at the moment of the application, I'll be going through my master's in industrial design. Am I eligible to do the application? I guess the answer then yes, right? Okay,
Yes.
great. Okay. It says, Sabrina asks, can you offer any tips or examples on how to build a strong portfolio or like common mistakes when building it? Thank you so much.
Maybe Kimberly can answer. How did you construct your portfolio?
Well, I think a good tip could also, sometimes you only put the results of the design processes into the portfolio. Maybe sometimes it's most important the process, how your research was, how you can prototype with others. Yeah, I think that it could be a good tip. Also, something important is that your portfolio could be direct. I mean, you don't put like 20 projects or 30 projects. Just put like 4 or 5 that are really impactful. I think that could be a good option.
Okay, great. We have another question from Guadalupe. It says, is it better to apply as soon as the application period opens? When does it end? Does it make a real difference? When does it apply? Or it can be in any of the period, any part of the period? Doesn't make a difference, right?
It doesn't make a difference. It will open in October and ends by 20th of January, probably. The dates will be announced online very soon. And it doesn't matter if you apply right at the beginning or the end, because we only evaluate applications after the deadline.
Yes, guys, though that is a myth. Like the sooner you apply, it's a myth to think that the sooner you apply, the more chances you get. It doesn't really matter. That's why they put a time window of applications, so you are kind of free to do that. My only advice here would be, like, based on practice and on experience, is don't wait until the last minute, because then platforms can crash, it's overloaded, and then it can get messy. And then if you lose a deadline, then that is sad. So very better do it before. Okay. Vivian Rojas says, Vivian, we are almost the same name. Okay, so it says, Liki, could you share your LinkedIn too, please? You can share your LinkedIn in the chat. Camila asks, the portfolio can be related to service design? Yes, okay, great. Then Florencia asks, I have a specific question. I volunteer in a school support center. Should I put it in the portfolio? We designed the experience of the educational program for the kids. So, yes, okay, great. Isaura says, in the portfolio application guideline, it talks about some points that should be addressed, like a briefing and personal approach on the project. How open and free can the presentation be? I'd like to think that as it is a creative portfolio, there's a lot of freedom on how to present it, but just want to make sure.
Yes, I think there I would say, and that's something that Andrea told me, like you need to upload like a PDF that's required from the program. But even then, you can interpret that very broad. If you have a nice website, like link that to your PDF. You know, you should see it more as that's the application formats, but you can go as wild and as creative as you want to go, I think. Yeah, never hold back, and share with us the stories, share the process that you went through. Yeah. That's
okay,
what I would say.
Great. Mafe asks, does it have an interview?
Yes.
And do you have any tips for the interview?
Marta, you were there, right?
Yes.
Kimberly.
But maybe Kimberly, I don't know how your experience was. From my side, we see a lot of people. The interviews that stand out are the most people who can show who they are and talk from an authentic point of view and with a lot of passion. I think what we heard in the EMMIE master presentation was very beautiful. It's really all about passion and if you can show that, if you talk about how you feel that you're a really a good match with the program, and that you understand what the program is about and what you could contribute and how the program would contribute to your life. And yeah, just talk about that. But Kimberly, I don't know, how did you experience it?
Yeah, the experiences for me was good. It's like, yeah, to develop what you put on the statement of motivation and in the design portfolio, to be like an authentic view of design, or what can you contribute to the program too, which are your interests in a long term, in terms of research. Yeah, that was the interview.
Okay. I guess also a good tip for the interview will be just not like be as yourself as you can, right? Because that's the main goal of the interview. Like, the thing is that a lot of people are, I think, scared, it would be the word, to be, I don't know, not too professional, or be to be, I don't know, we are very clumsy. I'm a very clumsy person. Sometimes when I'm in interviews, I feel that pressure of, like being perfect, but maybe this is a myth that we also have to overcome, right? Like, you don't need to be a perfect behaved, and yeah, like we are all humans and we all are clumsy in our way, so you can just be yourself, and the more yourself you are, I think would be the better, because as well then they will see if you are actually a good fit for the program or not, because it's not only a one-side relationship. It's you give to the program and the program also gives to you, so this is important to take into account, right? Okay. We have more questions. Is there a maximum age to apply? I guess no. The answer is no. Andrea ha hecho una pregunta, dice, una consulta, soy de Perú, estoy como estudiante de Erasmus autofinanciada, ¿es posible recibir soporte financiero complementario con los partners de Erasmus? Eso es algo que podemos conversar después, no es el momento. Sé que hay formas de recibir cierto aporte, yo he visto esos ejemplos, pero no te cubren un tuition, te pueden cubrir parte de los estudios, te pueden cubrir parte de la salud. Hay diferentes formas que podemos hablar luego a través de Instagram. Andrea Tamayo says, where can I watch the recordings of the sessions? The recordings will be in my YouTube channel. We will share the link within the community. I will give you a bit more information about this in the next moments. But first, I want to thank Marta, Like, and Kimberly for being here, for your valuable time, and all the presenters today, Patty, Daniela, John, and the people from SDSI. I have been really happy to hear all your stories and to hear about your awesome programs. I think people that are present here are very enthusiastic and excited to get to know more, to apply. So I wish from my side, like, the best of luck for all the applicants and the best of luck for the programs as well, the ones who are going to be reapplying to the funds soon. So this is the end of this talk. I just want to briefly share my screen just to give you some goodbyes. Am I sharing my screen? Yes. Is this? Okay. So, the recordings, las grabaciones, they will be inside our community. Our community is free. You can join at the personalbranding.pe. Then you will find the links in order to join the community. It says Comunidad de Becarios. Pueden unirse ahí. They will be available as well in our YouTube channel, but they will be more organized, let's say this, in the community. So you will have a separated space for that. So worry not about that. And well, that is the end for today. Gracias por venir. Thanks for coming to all of you. We'll keep on doing these talks until November. We have Tuesday and Thursday talks with different Erasmus Mundus programs from different fields. So keep an eye on our social media channels. You can find me on personalbranding.pe, personalbranding.p. Por ahí vamos a estar compartiendo la información de las siguientes charlas. Igual ya se puede inscribir a todas las que tienen, ya tenemos un montón de inscritos. And just now, wait for the news that are coming soon, that are going to help you with your applications and are going to help you build as well global profiles. We are working hard on that. Hemos trabajado súper duro en personalbranding.p. O sea, tanto mi equipo como yo nos hemos fajado para poder crear herramientas que realmente los ayuden a desarrollar sus perfiles, a desarrollar las habilidades que necesitan para poder afrontar todas estas postulaciones súper competitivas a nivel global. Thank you very much to everyone, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you to the program representatives and students. It's always great to have you, and welcome to the family of Personal Branding